Welcome, friends and disgraced monarchs, to another kick-ass episode of the InfoHazard Podcast Show. I'm your host, David, here with my buddies, Phil, back from the dead, and Danny. Thanks for dropping in.
I wise for my grave.
Yeah, Phil was
I didn't
sick as
actually
hell.
die, though. Sorry, listeners, for scaring you there. I was just sick, gravely ill, but I'm better now.
Is that a pun? Gravely ill?
I'll never tell.
All right, starting off strong. Oh, a lot of stuff happened this week. We're definitely not going to have time for all of it. There's 10 things that could easily justify a segment in this episode, but I'm just going to run down some of my highlights from this week. There was an airplane crash in India that killed 300 people. It crashed. Yeah. It fell out of the sky right after liftoff, crashed into a medical school. Everyone on board except one guy died. And the one guy walked away.
So there are 301 people on the plane.
300 might be approximate.
Oh,
but
I saw the picture of him. He walked away from that crash.
Yeah,
I guess one of those moving pictures, a video, you might say.
Wow, fancy. Yeah.
And then a train came at the screen. Oh.
So that would have been probably better news for, I'm sure he's happy to be alive, but his brother died next to him. So that sucked. A couple Minnesota Democratic lawmakers were shot. One and her husband were killed. Another one and their spouse, I forgot genders, were shot multiple times, but not killed. And the guy was going around with a hit list of, I think, the Democrats. But it was obviously the Marxists behind it. That's the important thing to know, is that it's the vile. It's the vile. What's the word? Words.
Antifa.
Yeah, Antifa. No, just kidding. It's probably MAGA. Anyway, no, I mean
it was MAGA. We know the suspect, and you can go through his social media posts. He's a raving anti-abortion sort of Christo-fascist kind of guy. He's as right wing as they come.
That makes sense. And honestly, it's not the movement; it's the guy. The movement stinks plenty all on its own. It doesn't need spice like this. We'll get to MAGA. Other news, the UN whatever committee found that Iran was in violation of their nuclear proliferation treaty. Israel bombed the shit out of them, and they did.
My God,
they did stuff.
Must be so embarrassed.
Who must be so embarrassed?
They released a report and someone did something.
That is, yeah. The UN, right? Yeah, the UN must be so embarrassed. Wait, something happened? Yeah. No, it was lots of sabotage inside the country, including an attack that resembled a lot of what Ukraine did in Russia the previous week. They knocked out a lot of their air defenses with drones coming from container trucks a few blocks away. And then they followed it up with lots of airstrikes and missiles, and now it's been back and forth since then. Plenty of people dying and stuff. And then this last weekend, there were the No Kings protests all around the country. Millions of people. We'll get all into that. But yeah, and Senator Padilla got manhandled at a Christy Noem press conference. Yeah, so tons of shit happened. What do you guys think? How were your feelings throughout all this? Phil,
this was news to me at about Saturday when I kind of finally revived from my coma. But I was sleeping on the job, and I'm sorry everybody for letting so much news happen. It's
through strength. It's Phil's vitality that has been holding the world together.
Yeah. No, I thought I was just really stressed out all the time, but I was doing protection chakra kegels, just squeezed it real tight up there to keep all the news from happening.
Yeah, so I guess maybe Danny, you can talk some about. We're mostly going to talk about the No Kings stuff and the lead up to that. So
yeah,
Danny,
I have some terrifying information about them.
Good. So Danny, why don't you take it away?
I also wanted to start with a quick news item, which was an Indian billionaire named Sanjay Kapoor died while he was playing polo because he swallowed a bee. Just sort of a crazy event that happened this past week.
Like he was allergic
This-
to, like the bee stung him and he had an allergic reaction.
I'm not sure if he like had an allergy before, or if you're more likely to get an allergy if it stings you on the inside as opposed to the outside.
right in there, like, and then just poof, and swells up, and then you're donezo. Huh.
Have you guys seen
That's
Bridgerton?
crazy. That feels like the bee was Luke Skywalker and he was the Death Star.
I mean, pretty much, dude.
Dude, but this is what happened in Bridgerton. Just saying.
Okay.
So life.
I hope that
Imitate.
analogy is apt. I mean, Indian billionaire doesn't exactly like endear me to this band who maybe did nothing more than, you know, exploit the millions to earn the billion. But maybe he had it coming. Maybe that bee was a hit.
Maybe maybe he just inherited it, Phil. You don't need to, you know, you don't need to assume that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a trained CIA bee that were performing an assassination, you know, like the cat.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
that the CIA has
Maybe.
gotten a lot more competent if that's the case.
Dude, it's Trump. Peace through strength. Beasting
All right,
assassination.
but that wasn't like the main thing I wanted to talk about. The main thing I
Okay.
wanted
Could
to
you
talk
imagine
about was
if it was Trump, like secretly the whole time, his hidden talent that he obviously can't share, like even though he's got to share absolutely everything about himself, is like he's really adept at espionage. And he's been whipping the CIA into shape behind the scenes.
Yeah, they took all the USAID money and they diverted it to the like B
training
you
program.
know, yeah. Yep, I think we should run with that. God, we need our Twitter account fast.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, Danny, you actually wanted to talk about something.
Yeah. So something more on a more serious note. Trump has been deploying the military to U.S. soil. I'm sure people have seen it. We didn't get a chance to really talk about it last week. But he deployed 4,000 members of the California National Guard and 700 Marines. The Marines have detained at least one person so far. So Trump is deploying them to protect federal buildings and federal agents, is what he says. So they're mostly sticking around the like federal buildings. So he hasn't invoked the Insurrection Act yet or anything crazy. But the guy they detained was he had an appointment in the building, and so he had headphones in, and he didn't hear them telling him to stop, and so they zip tied him down on the ground for 2 hours before they let him go, just in case he was in any danger of making his appointment.
That seems like the kind of arrest that would have happened, like, no matter where you put 700 Marines. You know, like, they're there, they're gonna find something to do. It might not be useful, but they're there.
Man, what was he listening to? I feel like it's like probably like good publicity. It's like, you know, he
there
probably
we go.
didn't even
David, you
notice
asked
he
that
got
question.
arrested.
You asked that question, and you know there can only be one answer. It's the Info Hazard podcast.
Chris, dude, he's one of our loyal listeners, dude.
I'm
He's
so
one of
sorry.
the subscribers. we got a bunch, Nick, last week. One was like his face being smashed against his phone. It was
I have
zip-tied.
great aspirations to get our listeners in trouble with the feds, but not this way. Not this way.
We'll have to talk really quietly for the rest of the episode in case anyone's listening to us on their way into a federal building.
Yeah. Please
Everyone,
stop.
we're
Look
going to
around.
turn down our voices. And when I say awareness mode, then you'll know that we whatever. This bet sucks.
Stick the landing, Phil. Oh no, he's dying.
It was just a play for sympathy. He was faking it.
His
Yeah.
joke
Or
sucks,
maybe-
so we figured he'd have like a
Or maybe like a
asthma
small
attack.
side effect of yelling when I don't have the capacity to yell.
All right.
Karmic justice.
He's back. Okay, so the military's in LA protecting federal buildings.
Yeah. Do you feel safer down there, David? Safe from all these rioters covering the streets, burning down your city?
I hadn't noticed the rioters. I mean, I just drove like.
So the
through,
Marines are doing a
downtown
great job,
LA.
though.
Oh no!
Well,
Before the
see-
Marines got there, I had driven through downtown LA. I hadn't seen any rioters, but yeah, just like on Friday, I think, of last week, or was it Saturday? So no, I don't feel any safer. No, I mean, I also don't
Yeah.
live in a federal building. Maybe if I was an ICE agent going around rounding people up at restaurants and Home Depots, maybe I would feel safer with like a bunch of Marines with me. I can imagine that they're not that popular when they do this. I think I'd
It's a
have
real
a couple
question.
choice words for an ICE agent if I was at Home Depot and they just came grabbing brown people.
The real question is, do you feel safer? Because they weren't there protecting, David and his cronies. They were protecting those federal buildings. So they were protecting us, the people of the United States, against, those dangerous Angelinos. So do you feel safer, old Danny?
Definitely, dude. I was really worried, Like when I saw like January 6th, like I knew that that was like a nice, calm, peaceful thing that didn't need any sort of response. But people protesting like immigration enforcement, dude, that's the most dangerous threat to America I can imagine.
Yeah, we can't have assaults on these symbols of American prosperity and freedom, like LA Precinct 1, courthouse, or
Wait
the
a minute.
DMV, or
Are you guys being
I guess that's
sarcastic?
California building.
Wait a minute.
Impossible.
ICE detention facility.
There you go.
Yeah. Did you see that video of the congresswoman who like went up to the ICE facility and was like, "Hey, I'm coming in," and they're like, "No," and she's like, "This dastardly ICE." It's like, I know it's not like the military, but I feel like Congress people outrank like door clerk at ICE department building in the federal government.
I feel like some Congress people shouldn't do their own publicity stunts.
I feel like I've made my point, about the publicity stunts. I say keep them coming.
We need political stunt doubles, dude.
Yeah, we need more
exciting.
people throwing bows and getting slammed to the floor like your and my Senator Alex Padilla getting arrested. I guess he's probably out of custody, right?
I mean, I think he was held for minutes.
Okay.
But so it's been almost a week, and there's been like no like crazy headlines coming out of this like National Guard and Marine deployment. So what do you guys think? Is it like a nothing burger, or is it a dangerous precedent?
Whoa. There have been no big headlines. I beg to differ. All right. See, I went on Fox News.
Okay. And what did you see on Fox News?
I can show you. I saw headlines.
All right. Hit us with these headlines.
So
let's see how the other half lives.
I'm trying to share my screen. Can you guys see this one?
Yeah.
Violent Portland mob injures federal officers in brazen ICE facility attack.
Goodness gracious.
Wow. That sounds like something that definitely happened.
So I loaded Fox 2 times this last week, and I screenshotted both of them. Were you guys out? Were you out in Portland, Dan? Were you at the protests there?
Yes, during the daytime ones, not the ones that they're talking about here, which are the late night ones, I believe.
Okay, share screen.
Yeah, so I was telling Phil, I went to the daytime ones, but I believe this is probably like the late night stuff that happens like, 10 p.m., 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Things tend to get more exciting.
Yeah, Portland does have the extracurriculars, don't they? But, right, your overall impression was...
Yeah, it was peaceful. It was like mostly like grandmas and stuff. It wasn't like a violent insurrection or anything.
Okay.
There were some inaudible speeches, and then we all went for a nice walk around the city.
So here's the other screen front page that I saw.
What is your... Okay, so you've got your burning Waymos. Check out like a little bit more context on those. I think people were burning them because they like collaborate with the LAPD. They're snitch cars. They record everything, and they have a policy of sharing with the police for like any potential crime.
I guess I won't call a Waymo if I'm going to rob a bank then.
I would recommend not like calling like a rotating camera if you're...
Yeah, stick
Uber
with
only. Right?
Stick with Uber, yeah. If you're robbing a bank, ride an Uber. That should be their new tagline. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I look at this. So let's see. Double standard with the picture of Gavin Newsom. Mexican flags. California shelling out money to illegals. Okay, handcuffed. Flames.
That one, I think they're confused
Mexican
because
flags.
Baja California is the Mexican state. We're in California. That's the American state. He's the governor of California.
Right.
So I could bring these sort of helpful tips to the Fox News team.
I think that, I agree apparently with Senator Fetterman, who thinks that, I don't know, the waving around the Mexican flags is like probably not like that useful of a political like visual. And, I get it that people are proud of their heritage. That's awesome. But it doesn't even seem that relevant. And yeah, I mean, well, here you can see how that gets portrayed on the right-wing media. So 3 of 4 pictures on the front page have flames and Mexican flags. Sorry, I'm not sure if I counted those right. Anyway, and then the last
I
one.
feel like they would just make their own picture, you know, like if there wasn't something like that. It is just propaganda. So, like, it's not. We shouldn't like, and Senator Fetterman is like ever since the stroke, he's a Republican. Like, I wouldn't really listen to him.
I mean, and even if he's, I mean, regardless of whether you like what you think of him, I mean, what he's saying here is he's purely like horse race politics talk. Like, it's nothing, you know, a relevant thing to put on a front page would be like Donald Trump sends military to LA in intentional provocation. Like, that would be like a sensible thing to have on your front page. But instead it's like, oh, guy talks politics and thinks this is probably going to be better for Republicans. Like, that's your front page item. How typically mainstream propaganda of them.
Well, you remember, they're not trying to inform their viewers. They're trying to entertain and, you know, make them feel good.
I mean, I don't know about good. They're trying to
I mean,
make them
also, like,
scared.
they didn't get like a quote from another Democratic party member, you know. They got a quote from Fetterman, because Fetterman is going to give them the kind of sound bites, like the both sidesy sound bites that they need for this kind of article.
Hey, man, I resemble that remark. So
I'm saying, you know, check yourself before you wreck yourself, bud.
man, yeah, I mean, right. I mean, how to deal with bad faith propaganda outlets are going to take anything you say and twist it. And so does that mean that you should censor yourself, or does that mean you should talk more and talk to more people?
You just don't need to regard them. They're just
right
houses of lies.
Right, exactly.
You know? Like, you truly don't need to care what they think.
That's right. Well, I mean, I care because of like the impact that they have.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's useful to know what lies they're spreading to try to combat those lies, but you don't need to tailor your speech to match
exactly
the kind of lies they would like to tell.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, I thought that anyway.
I think the Mexican flag is a perfectly appropriate way to show your support for your neighbors to the south and the people who have a desire to come up here and make a community here. You know, it's a community of people that we welcome in this country.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
And burning Waymos.
Yeah, you could have
snitches
also,
get stitches.
So how about a pride flag? So yeah, burning Waymos I'm against. And how about a pride flag, right? Like, I like pride flags. I like gay people. Like, totally happy to have, like, you know, gay rights, etc. It is not relevant to the No Kings protest. And honestly, like, the Mexican flag, like, is a very weird signal here. Like what were you protesting out there? Were you protesting for like rights for Mexicans, or for like improved relations with Mexico? Like, no, that you're just like muddling the message of what it is you're protesting in a way that is very conveniently attacked, like, and obviously exploitable.
Those people, you're combining the No Kings Day one day rally with the ongoing protests against ICE.
That's right.
These are the anti-ICE protests.
Right, but even, yeah, the anti-ICE protests, again, it's like, but why a Mexican flag?
It's a pogrom upon the Mexican-American people of this country. I think, yeah, you want to show, like they're not kicking out all the gays, they're kicking out Mexicans.
Yeah, it's...
Or people perceived to be Mexican.
So, yeah, so it's not just Mexicans. Okay, sure. So it's more relevant than a pride flag. Like, I'll give you that. But, I mean, to me, it's like you're protesting against the actions of ICE. You're protesting against deportation because you want to remain in America, or you want people to be in America. Like, it's like, okay, if you're like, so, you know, what does waving a Mexican flag show? Like, shows pride in Mexico. So it's like, how does pride in Mexico say, like, I want to stay in the U.S., or like, I think like we should have like due process in the U.S. Like, what are the messages you're trying to send? I don't. It just seems a little incoherent.
Even being a Mexican American,
yeah. So
it's a distinct culture within America.
All right, that I dig. And I did like it, like when I saw like people holding both, or like two people next to each other, one of each. But
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty nail on the head. Take both, but practically, it's a little awkward to hold two flags. They kind of topple over.
that's true.
And if you're on like a motorbike, you've got like one flag arm and then one steering arm. So,
Yeah,
and that's kind of pushing it. You should have two steering arms.
I mean, in this case, right, driving your motorcycle through like
You need the two steering
flames.
arms, and then you need like the samurai kind of like pole with the flag on the back.
Yeah,
But like that thing.
So
Yeah.
Phil, if you could if you could like design, like how could you demonstrate for like I am from like I or like how could you protest for like I believe Mexico should conquer America? How what symbolism would you use? Maybe you would wear
Of,
a
like,
mask. You'd carry a Mexican flag, and you would
Like
be
one of those
riding a
really
motorcycle next
long-
to fire.
You know those like the really long shoes, like comically long shoes the gauchos will wear, like one of those stamping on the boot of someone just trying to eat a McRib.
Yeah. Anyway, okay,
The
so
neck.
yeah,
But dress up like Santa Anna, the
Yeah,
Mexican
dress up like
dictator.
Santa Ana.
immediately recognizable. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing. Look, I'm not. Yeah, I look at this front page and it makes me really angry. Right, like I am not like I'm disgusted at the way that these propaganda outlets act. They try to
But
just
that's-
frighten
yeah,
everyone.
You fight propaganda with propaganda, man. Like counter propaganda.
I
Like
don't know
y-
what.
yeah, like you just put out better propaganda. There's no use arguing with it. They'll just lie and say whatever. They're not going to change what they have. They have an agenda.
Sorry, yeah. I mean,
They're
I don't.
putting
I guess,
out things to match that agenda.
I guess we might have different
So
definitions.
if you want to
of
fight propaganda, you're going to have to put out propaganda.
I think we might have different definitions of propaganda. Like, I think of propaganda as being inherently dishonest. Like, I don't think like that there's any need to lie to counter this.
Quick, it's time for one of our classic definition offs.
Go, Danny, go.
I'm adjudicating here. You guys are the ones with the competing definitions.
This is like a dance off, right?
Propaganda is just like politically motivated messaging.
Well, I thought that it's also dishonest. It's also false,
I don't think that.
I don't think
is
it has
true.
to be.
especially biased or misleading, used to promote or publicize a particular political. Okay, Danny, adjudicate.
So I guess I'm deciding who is closer.
The answer
to
is
the...
a committee of cardinals of the Roman Catholic Church responsible for foreign missions, founded in 1622 by Pope Gregory XV. So
All right,
we
I
were
declared a
both
tie.
wrong.
You were both way off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear one single one of you say the word committee of cardinals, dude.
I didn't say Pope Gregory the 15th. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I was emphasizing the biased and misleading nature of it. So, because for example, like
bias and misleading doesn't necessarily mean false.
fine, yeah, I think also, yeah, that's to me being misleading and lying. Like that's my preferred definition of lying. Oh my gosh, should we do another one?
Oh,
Okay, sorry.
fractal definition offs.
Anyway, I also thought, I mean, Danny, I don't know how much more you wanted to talk about, but I know this one seems kind of relevant to what Phil was getting into. They have the familiar hidden hand behind today's No Kings protest.
Yeah. Okay, so like all of that stuff that's mostly the anti-ICE protest, but I was bedridden for the No Kings protests. I really wanted to go. So, I don't know. I feel like I helped organize a smaller rally earlier in the week, but yeah, it just, again, didn't have a dog with no fight in me. Whatever. Fuck that metaphor. Anyways, I was tired. I was sick. Give me a break. I'll get in the next one. But I was doing some research on it because, I couldn't go, so I wanted to know more about it, and I had uncovered something sinister that I just... Oh no! Oh!
Holy shit, it's the Dark Wizard.
No, I'm no dark wizard. You see, I
It's Emperor
go by
Palpatine?
many names because I am behind the scenes of this whole affair and I can finally reveal my true identity. There are those that call me the Eternal Weaver, and some who call me the Skittering Shadow, but you may call me Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yes. Yes, I like the sound of that.
So,
Would you like to hear my tale of woe and deception that led me to this final moment of triumph at the No King's Day protest?
yes.
Can't think of anything. I'd like to hear more.
Well, for millennia, my organization has been working tirelessly to bring about the dawn of a new age. We have been spreading fear and deception. When our people loaded those rats onto those boats and started the bubonic plague. And later, when we put that worm into the brain of RFK Jr., and now, a moment of triumph, we reveal ourselves at No King's Day.
Oh, wow. Sorry, so you're trying to bring a new age, bring on a new...
Yes, it's all too nefarious and good and smart, the things that we did. Like No King's Day. Turns out we do want a king, and we were planting nefarious hidden messages in the protest signs. I'm very proud of them.
Oh, like
Would you
the
like
Mexican
to
flag.
see them?
Yes.
Do you want-
I love hidden messages.
Yes.
All right. Now, can you guess the secret message behind this poster? It is the Donald Trump man, and it says, "Not even your wife likes you."
It seems pretty straightforward, right? Melania Trump doesn't like him?
Yes, straightforward. Almost too straightforward, for in fact it is. You see, it is not straightforward, because this doesn't address Donald Trump, for Donald Trump looks out at you from the picture. It is a way to slowly and sinisterly influence the mind of the viewer. Not
No.
even your wife likes you.
Oh, no.
So what you're saying is they're trying to split our nuclear families.
Shit.
Speaking of nuclear, honk if you've never drunk texted war plans. This is a subtle allusion to Pete Hegseth being an alcoholic. But what we're actually conveying is that you shouldn't be honking, you're walking. These are large protests where they have covered up the road. So if
Right.
anyone has a honking, they're a honking. If anyone has a horn. Cut. Okay. If anyone has a horn, they're a clown and should feel foolish and maybe have texted drunk war plans. And they feel bad about themselves.
Oh,
Wait,
my.
but
You are sinister.
Geese honk, and they don't drive. How do you explain that?
This is mostly targeted at geese.
Oh.
Now this one's a little tricky. Elect a rapist, expect to get fucked. This requires some context. You see, Donald Trump, convicted for rape, is irrelevant to this. It's actually about this girl's t-shirt. It says girls will be girls. It's like she's dismissing the seriousness of sexual assault. Makes you think.
You're just asking questions.
You're just asking questions sinisterly.
Did you make this weird, sinister wizard outfit yourself? It was just like a blanket?
It has been passed down upon the generations of Spider-Men to Spider-Men. And now upon to me, Spider-Man. This one says, cholesterol, do your job, and has a picture of Pete Hegseth.
I don't think
So-
that's Pete Hegseth.
I think that's AI fat Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? Okay, this one's actually pretty straightforward. I got this confused with a different one. Next. Now this one is just cute, because there's a puppy, and it says no Nazi bitches. So I just wanted to share that one. Here, the hidden messaging is almost too deviously clever to want to tell you about, but I simply must divulge. The harbor thirsts for tea, and he's pouring ice into the ocean. What do you think this means? You would think it was about global warming, but actually, it's about the gold standard. For you see, in many tea brands, and this humongous Manhattanite is strong, symbolizing the strength of gold. But we, the spider generation, will send gold sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Next slide. You sucked in Home Alone 2. Now this one is directed at Donald Trump, and there's really no getting around it. And I just thought this one was mean, and I kind of wanted to complain about it.
It is kind of mean.
That's so mean. He's not like a professional actor. He was just doing a favor for this company, this movie company. Like, oh, we need a rich New York guy. And they got Donald Trump. And he showed up for a cameo. He did a fine job of just wandering into a scene and saying hi to a child. What do you mean you sucked in Home Alone 2?
Just mean, yeah.
Yeah. Not fair.
Donald
Next.
Trump would never be mean or try to hurt people's feelings, of course.
Yeah, I don't really care for the guy one way or the other. Now, this one is the most perverse of all of our sinister messages. Don't piss off old people. The older we get, the less life in prison is a deterrent. A cruel reminder of your mortality.
It also...
And a reminder to become more radicalized as you become older.
It also says up top, don't
Which will
touch
put
my
you-
social security. In, like, the fine print.
These plans have been in place for aeons. I simply must give you... Now that my final master stroke is complete, I must show you the slides. This one says, Trump can oligargle these nuts. Now this one is particularly devious because these nuts actually means these, 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 and nuts, Nuts.
Right.
You see, the spelling is different, but it actually means he can gargle testicles.
I get it now. It all makes sense.
Yes.
Donald Trump's opponents famously denigrate him for his inability to gargle nuts.
You gotta stop sharing, man. Or something.
Well, yeah, chaos reigns, and the web has been woven, and
It's the second button.
follow
from the
my
right.
blog at spiderman.com. And,
That's not actually...
I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay. Oh my God, what happened? How long was I out?
I don't know. I was there and I still don't know what happened.
It was about 10 minutes of insanity. Was that Phil himself? Did Spider-Man inhabit and possess Phil's body? Is that what it seemed like
Spider-Man?
to you?
Your friendly neighborhood
which
Spider-Man?
one was it? Like the
Not a Spider-Man you've ever heard
Miles
of.
Morales or
Tobey Maguire?
like the
Wait.
Toby?
Toby-
Yeah, no,
Is that his name?
partial to the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire films.
Oh, well, now my chest
Why are we
hurts
talking about
too.
Spider-Man though?
Yeah.
Weird. Let's move on. What else you got for us, David?
Oh my gosh, you've been this is another hard one to follow. I'm aching from giggles. I just had one last little thing, and it's totally off topic.
You can't be off topic because we don't have a topic.
We had so many topics to choose from, and we were like, okay, let's talk about all of them, or none of them, or maybe we could talk about whatever.
I don't know, man. I don't know if the AI shit makes sense. I can do it. All right, I'm gonna do it.
It often doesn't make sense. That's where the humor of talking about AI stuff
There we go.
comes from. The humor of the absurd. I miss when
All right.
you remember the early days of AI video generation where they're in the first steps of trying to piece together like moment to moment motion. Like characters would come into a scene and then like they'd start, their run cycle would be going, but they'd be moving the wrong direction and their face would flip around and then their face would become the point of view and they're running at the camera and it goes on, their mouth like spins up into their head. Yeah, I miss those earlier generations of AI videos.
Me too.
It still kind of happens. I see like a lot of AI videos of like kissing, but the lips merge together. It's
Watch
like
a lot of AI videos of kissing, do you?
in my private files.
That's gnarly. Okay, I'm pretty sure my computer is going to kill itself if I open up this YouTube video while I'm in this call. Like it's already like I think it's on the
video
phone
quality is like
right now.
It's like 6 pixels, dude.
Andreessen Horowitz. I've heard of this guy.
So
wait, no, is that a company?
I know. You know, it's been a stressful week. So Horowitz, I'm blanking on his first name, is a founder of Netscape and a venture capitalist.
Mark
one
Andreessen
of the two partners at Andreessen Horowitz, or A16Z, prominent Silicon Valley VC.
Right.
Am I connected at all?
I can hear you.
You guys hear me?
Are you ready?
Here we go.
Play the video.
This is Horowitz of Andreessen Horowitz.
I've lost all video. I'm gonna just quit the call and come back in. Okay, let's do that. Okay.
All right, David. You want to give us
that.
a lead into this video here, or is it speak for itself?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I know, these are all stressful times, and we're worried about the political situation and the economic situation. With AI, we're all wondering, will my job be next? But there's good news. There's one job that is untouchable. Roll footage.
Here we go.
A beautiful bean footage. Can we pause? Speaking of beautiful beans.
You saying this guy looks like a beautiful bean?
This is the most beautiful bean I've seen in my life.
A magic bean.
Okay, let's go on.
He's talking about the profession of venture capital.
Because we were speculating because we watched this and it crashed your video, whatever. Right. But like we were it was like, did he actually say what the fuck he was talking about? Like that it's timeless. It might not be going away. It's something about psychology. So right. Is he it was psychologist probably. He's talking about being a psychologist. No, venture capitalist. His job. Yeah. I mean, one thing you can't automate apparently is having ass loads of money. Yeah.
Sorry, the algorithms they don't.
You can't take the sort of like win percentage that a great VC firm is like that. You're getting 1 out of 20, 1 out of 22. Like if you want to automate that, you might as well just flip a coin. And that would be really easy and it would be cheap.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, there's that je ne sais quoi when you're sitting across the coffee table from a 20-year-old kid with a big dream and a big ego and saying, yes, you can have my $10 million.
Build me a photo sharing site.
Nothing fucking better to do with it.
Build me a site that determines if an image is a hot dog or isn't a hot dog.
Build me a photo sharing site worthy of Mordor.
Brond.
So yeah, I just thought it was really surprising to see a billionaire VC who's out of touch. So yeah, I just thought that was entertaining. But yeah, I mean, the real reason why that might not be automated is because what reason do they have to automate it? They like lording their money over everyone else. They can't save money.
In a practical sense, it won't be automated until the machines can own the capital, right? Like you won't have anyone picking what to do with their money unless the machine has the money. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm stupid here.
I mean, there's all kinds of automated, like, stock picking, like, all kinds of it. I mean, sure. Even from, like, robo-investors, like, that automatically pick your retirement. They rebalance your retirement portfolio.
He's super wrong, because this program exists and is, like, the majority of, like, trading.
No, but he is talking about, like, he calls it that a VC, okay, is different than whatever, like a normal person's 401k. Because they are swinging for the fences every time, and they pick they're trying to pick the
investing in
flukes.
non-public companies too,
and
right?
Right.
That too, yeah.
They're
almost
it's not
always
it's low
private
frequency
companies.
trading and it's like unlisted and in person often.
Right, but it's kind of funny. I mean, he talks about like, okay, so much of it is just about like assessing the founder and like how likely they are to hold up under the pressure of running a startup. But he doesn't mention that like founders might, I mean, he seems to think that founders might be automated also. And so you need to assess the psychology of your robo founder.
Our new AI CEO makes nonsense posts on LinkedIn of 10 regular CEOs.
That's impressive. I mean, that does seem to
New
be
AI.
the role of, or a large part of it.
New AI CEO is currently on
Swap
10
output.
vacations. New AI CEO is multitasking against 35 golf courses right now.
Putt.
Perfect putt, perfect putt, perfect putt. Maximum efficiency of vacation achieved. Networking.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a little bit. I think he's got a little blind spot. That's what I'm saying. Feels good.
Alrighty. Yeah, feels good. Feels good to bring to close another banger of an episode of the Info Hazard Podcast Network podcast.
Show.
If you
Go out and
like
smell
our
some
content,
daisies.
you can smell those daisies, but don't sniff too hard, because if you do, a bee might go right into your esophagus, knock you out, graveyard dead. So watch out, billionaires and
Everyone
hundredaires
else.
and anyone who sniffs daisies.
All right, make sure you like and comment and subscribe. We need those comments.
Oh.
We want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Do you think you could inhale a different
don't.
insect and live to tell the tale? Let us know at infohazardshow at gmail.com or in the comments on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. And maybe it's from Apple Podcasts. That's a company that you could download, and then you don't even have to listen to us, but then you won't get some of the visual bits. At this point, I guess we are really more video. But we sell it with our voices, so you can just listen to us while you're doing the dishes or whatever. That's fine too. Anyways, bye. I love you.
My poor internet. No.
Dude, it does look like it's having trouble.
Do 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 do. Ripperonis to your internet.
He's gone again.